Back in 2020, we all had a pretty terrible time, but I saw an opportunity. I was 16 years old, looking to climb the popularity ladder. I always was for the last year. I had these nerdy friends at school, but I was also playing patball with the more popular kids. The ones who started bringing in vapes to school. They thought it was really cool and fun. This was 2019, so it was a bit less taboo than it is now, where literal 12-year-olds are vaping, selling vapes in schools, in primary schools even. But back then, I was just trying to fit in. I thought that if I want to become the person who is socially acceptable, going into parties and everything, I have to do the actions that they do. So I went from a pretty well-behaved kid to someone who is just not badly behaved, but more experimental. And in the year leading up to lockdown, I used the time I spent at break with my friend, or the people who I wanted to be like, the popular ones. I would learn their behaviours, I would learn their inside jokes, and I would playfully bounce off their words really smoothly, like I was one of them. Essentially, this transition involved becoming a pack animal, behaving like the pack, the crowd around me. So I tagged along with them. Not always accepted, of course. Some people didn't want me around. Okay, I see, I wasn't part of your group beforehand anyway. But others were newly forming and the people in them were more acceptable. They were just nicer guys. See, even though they were part of the same pack, they all still behaved very slightly differently from each other, their own individual characteristics coming out into full fruition. But how was I going to hang out with them more outside of school? Well, the golden opportunity hit after lockdown measures started to ease in the UK. 2 months after it started, a hardline lockdown was becoming more of a soft one, and we could see each other out in the parks. So that's exactly what we did, and we all chose a local park, which is really close to me, and it was only a 5-minute walk to cross over to where they were. Perfect! Now I could flourish into a socially acceptable person, going here and there, making friends with anyone, well, at least getting by with people, not necessarily becoming close with any of them. Of course, I don't speak to 99% of them. As time moves on, so does life. But at this specific point, I was mingling with them and they became my life. People would bring in their cigarettes, their alcohol, their drugs, and I started having a drink alongside them. I even smoked a few cigarettes that year. The cigarettes I did quit shortly after the periods of hanging out with them ended. And almost every day for 2 months I would hang out with them on the common. It was an amazing feeling. Big crowds were happening out there, some fights broke out, the police and ambulances came at some point. It was crazy. But that summer is what I needed to transition into a socially acceptable person. I essentially had a social revolution, which allowed me the next year to form my own friendship group of 5 people, and we went everywhere with each other. We arranged so much together, and it was all because I brought us together and started forming plans like a proper group leader. If I had not gone through that social revolution in lockdown 2020, I may never have reached this point, and I may still have had some social awkwardness to my character, which I would not be able to detach my personality from. I would still have a negative self-image that would stop me from interacting with people on a normal scale. And so now I am eternally grateful for that one summer I spent out on the park, just having fun, sharing some drinks with some friends, maybe smoking some cigarettes as well. But I learned so much, and it allowed me to step out and reach for a new community who I now go hiking with and hit the gym with. It's amazing really how life turns out this way. All because I took that one chance in summer 2020, the lockdown, to go and socialise and become a socially acceptable person. It's especially crucial to do this in your teenage years, where you start having more authority over yourself, where you can start going out by yourself more. It's great fun. And trust me, as a perfectionist, organised person myself, the unknown was actually pretty fun if I learned to embrace it, which I did then. You know, you have to embrace change, you have to embrace stepping out of your comfort zone and actually trying something new. Otherwise, how will you get anywhere else in life? How will you try something new? How will you discover that passion you never knew you had? You just have to go out there and do it. I hope my social revolution story has resonated with you in some way. And if you have a similar experience, please share it in the comments below. Thanks for listening, take care, and see you in the next video.